Do I want to touch that?
Yes, because I want to know. And I feel like I deserve to know.
It's weird how we talk about, labeling things and people's experiences and whatnot, and how the double standard. That's the word that's coming to mind. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe if a woman is being outside sexually with multiple partners,
just living life.
Yeah. And so, instability. I can see that from a man's perspective, and it was hard for me to pick that one because live your life. Right. Live your life. Do what you want to do.
Okay. I guess like sometimes, when it comes down to when thinking about being unstable though, like for real, a woman or not, is just because I look unstable, does that necessarily mean I am unstable? Or is it just like, is this what my chaos looks like? You know what I'm saying? Like for some people, and that's what I mean. Some people's stability, it looks unstable to other people, but that is their form or idea of stability. So when I was asking you, like, do we feel like it has a certain look, like a one size fits all? And you said you think it's per person, like being stable is per person. And so are there times where you feel like your version of stability looks chaotic to somebody else?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I think switching that onto me for my own ownership and accountability, I can see viewing or perceiving someone else's mess as their sign of stability. That I might perceive it one way and it's really not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay. I'm gonna ride with that. Okay, so we're gonna keep going with that.
Of course you are, Key.
I'm just saying, no, because we're talking about it. So I'm bringing in now what I was gonna ask. So
wait, are we talking about the person?
Yes, we're gonna talk about this person. Okay. We're gonna bring it right up to this is stability. So all right. There's a person and they will remain anonymous.
Can we give them a name?
Let's call them
Barbara Jean.
You said barbecue?
Barbara Jean.
Barbara Jean. All right, Barbara Jean. I can't do no but picture of older lady, but okay, Barbara Jean. Barbara Jean is married. Okay, so Barbara Jean is married to Daniel. We just add names in here. All right, Barbara Jean and Daniel.
Probably so cute. I know, me too.
Okay, sorry. So Barbara Jean is married, and she was just saying, like, so she's married. I think she's been married all of maybe 4 or 5 years. So fresh, but not super fresh. But that 5-year itch, the first 5 years. They have 2 kids. Wow. They both work. And their kids are busy. Okay, some people's kids, you'd be like, your kid's schedule busier than mine. I'm a whole grown up. So like they got busy schedules. And so she lately has been saying that she cannot find the word she actually used was she can't find her footing. So I just did that. She can't find her footing in trying to, for lack of a better word, stabilize all her roles, right? Because she works a like intense job. You know what I'm saying? She's not a nurse, but she works in the hospital. It's like a liaison. So like between like the hospital and the higher ups, if that makes sense. Okay. So she works like that. Her husband works a job. I don't know what he does. I ain't asked. Okay. I don't know Daniel. I just know Barbara Jean. Okay. So Barbara Jean. I can't believe I keep saying his name. Anyway, Barbara.
Call her BJ.
No, because then that makes my brain go a whole different way.
I know.
Bring that back. Nope, we are not going to call her that. This is not the episode for that one, sister. You're going to make me unstable in 1 second. Hold on. Barbara.
Barbara Jean.
Yes, Barbara is trying to find her footing between being a wife, being a good worker, because she's good at her job, but as you can imagine, it's a high intense job. She has 2 children. They're both under 10, but over they're like I think she said they're like 5 and 8. Okay. But then also showing up for herself. And so she said she just can't seem to find her footing and trying to show up on her roles, and it makes her feel unstable mentally. It makes her feel unstable emotionally, and then she feels like physically it makes her feel unstable. Kind of like when you were like how you say you look around in your house, like her life from the outside looks fine, obviously, but on the inside she's struggling. And so she was kind of asking me like, have I experienced that as far as like feeling unstable and if there's a way for her to come back. And so I'm like, that's a heavy question you asking me, lady. So I don't have a direct answer in the moment, but I just kept hearing footing and all my roles. And that's all I kept hearing was footing and all my roles. And basically trying to get your foot in all your roles and how that feels unstable. But how that is probably a normal transition for a lot of people. Doesn't matter if you're married with family or not, but as you have all these roles, right? Most people work. A lot of people don't. We're not going to get on that. Work. Some people have families of any sort. I just say family. You may be taking care of a parent. You may be taking care of kids. You may be taking care of foster kids, somebody else's kids. You may have a partnership, but then you also got friendships. Yeah. And so trying to find that stability amongst playing all the roles. And so I guess like exploring that for her here, because she listens. And so maybe that'll help her because that's a heavy question, right? To just be like, how can I? It's not that simple to answer without diving deeper a little bit. Yeah. But what do you think about that? Like that instability of transitioning, of trying to combine all of who I am, like what that provides, not just some outside instability, but internally and feeling pulled in a million directions, which makes you feel rocky or unstable and feeling like you're not showing up in all your capacity and all your roles. And how that creates that same feeling.
Hearing that makes me feel tired. Okay. Like it sounds like a lot, like heavy.
So now you feel unstable with Barbara.
Yeah. Barbara Jean stressed me out.
Barbara Jean needs our help though.
Oh my God. I don't. When I have gotten or felt like I was in that space to where I had a lot going on and the footing word comes to mind, then I just won't do nothing. Like I will stop and shit will just fall where it's supposed to and I'll pick it up when I come back.
Which is easier because we don't have children.
Correct. Okay.
Sometimes you can't drop some stuff you can't drop, right? There, I will acknowledge that as a person without children, I understand that perk. I don't think that people have it harder with children. I just think it's a different struggle. But that's one
Barbara got 2 kids.
Barbara got 2 kids. And she has a good husband. So it's not even like, you know, I've experienced people who are still single parents, even though they're married. It's not that, but it's just literally like she's feeling unstable, you know, and feeling like trying to find her footing in all those roles. And so like when you say like drop, like things just fall, I agree with you, but it's like some stuff can't fall because of the fact that she got kids.
Other responsibilities.
You know, those responsibilities that don't stop no matter what, like, you know. So, Barbara.
That's tough. Oh my God. I mean, I'm really big on compartmentalizing. But even that feels like work. But I feel like it could be helpful.
Okay, so compartmentalizing things,
leave different spaces, like versus trying to make them fit, compartmentalized so it seamlessly fits, like you planned for it versus it being almost out of your control.
Okay, so she can compartmentalize, and then I mean, clearly I'm asking you. I mean, she asked me, but I'm asking you. I guess.
I mean, I would tell Barbara Jean, like, I need. It's not about me. I think it would be helpful. If she was my friend, I would be like, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. I think it would be helpful for Barbara to prioritize. This might sound terrible because she got kids, and maybe it's coming from somebody who doesn't, right?
Okay, so let's hear it. I can't wait to hear what you say.
It's not terrible. I just feel like Barbara Jean should prioritize herself and make everything else fit around that. Because I feel like before all the extra things came into the picture, I don't want extra things to communicate lack of importance, right? So before the husband, for the kids, for all the kids' activities, like all of that, before all of that came into play, it was just you, Barbara Jean. What did Barbara Jean need? and be able to identify those things and find a way to make those priorities and all the other things that are of importance to fit around that. Because then you're better able to serve and show up in those spaces.
Okay, so you're saying self-care,
self-care, self-soothing,
reflection,
all of it.
Okay, so one thing we're saying is that for Barbara, but anybody, whoever you just ever feel like a lot is going to, you can't. Yeah, you're trying to find your footing. So first, you're saying like kind of compartmentalize in the sense of like how my favorite word is audit. Like you're putting everything in its own compartment so you can figure out. But at the core of that is figuring out what Barbara needed, what you need, anybody needs, and then figuring out how to make everything else work with that.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. You are so nice because all I kept thinking was, ma'am, pick a side. And what I meant by that, not in a mean way, I think that sometimes we have to acknowledge that feeling like you can't find your grounding or stability comes from you don't want to let some stuff go. And sometimes you have to let stuff go. I'm a firm believer you can have it all, but don't mean you can have it all at the same time. And what I mean by that is, because you don't like limits, but it's the reality. Here's the thing. If it's 24 hours in a day and I want to sleep 8 and I go to work 7 and I got this practice for these kids for 3 hours and I want to get an hour of self-care. Yeah, I'm going to keep going because I'm making it
19.
And that Sunday, and let's say that's all on a Sunday or whatever, right?
19 hours gone.
19 hours are gone. So maybe that Target run will be on Monday. That's all I mean is that sometimes you have to learn to say no to yourself in order to say yes to yourself. She need rest.
Okay. Say no to extra stuff.
You don't, everything doesn't have to get done. And so that's where I feel like compartmentalizing. Like if I have 10 goals, but one of these goals takes 3 months, and some of these other goals I can do in a few hours. Some stuff is going to get done first. That's all I mean by that. Like picking a side. So that probably sounds harsh. It does sound harsh, but this is
what I thought when you said.
I know. So
it's like F people, but you can't.
No, not even that. But it's kind of like this. I got choices, and I think people don't like to acknowledge that we have choices. So I can choose that I want. This is my choice. I want all these things, or I don't. That's the first choice. If I want all these things, what are the choices that I have to make to be able to have all these things? So very similar to what you said. If I know that in order to be a good wife, a good mother, this and this and this, I need these things and I don't have them, what can I do to get them, or what can I compromise on, right? Like for instance, and this is, I don't have kids, but I have helped raise enough, okay? And so in my mind, I feel like this, and I tell this to clients. One thing I say, you have a kid in sports, realistically, you can't make every game.
Exactly.
And people hate to hear that, but that's the truth. I'm not saying don't go to any games, but luckily you do have a partner. So if both parents are not at both games, that's okay. Like your kid is not going to be like, and maybe if it's a championship, they're like, you missed one, you only came to 15 out of 20 games this year. Like if they do, they kind of might be some OCD going on, but I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes realize like you don't have to. So I was asking her, my first question was, do you feel unstable because of your circumstances and all the things that you have going on? Or do you feel unstable because of the choices you make and what you allow yourself not to? Like, is this a self put on pressure mentally, or is this a actual pressure? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about, and you can relate to this because you're a person, if you don't like a job, you leave, right? I'm not being funny. I'm saying, but you've met people where you work and you be like, you just take this work way too serious. So it's kind of like, are you a person that, are you doing your work and then doing extra work? And that's why you extra stressed out at work? Or are you staying within the limitations and confinement of your job duty? You know what I'm saying? Like identifying where are places where I overextend unnecessarily can also start to stabilize some stuff, because we all do it. We all do it at some point. You don't have to be at work. We all do it at some point where you like,
in different areas of your life. Absolutely.
And so I was like, well, maybe that's why I meant like pick a side.
No, I did not hear it.
I heard somebody's banging.
Teddy.
See, hold on 1 second, because I gotta tell Teddy something about himself in 1 second. Okay, I don't want y'all to.
You better not yell at Teddy. Y'all should see her. I'm on mute, and she is yelling at Teddy. Teddy is a really cute dog. I wish y'all could see her right now. And she said she don't have no kids. Y'all should have seen her face.
So Teddy over here growling. Them Amazon people knocking so hard at my door like it's the police. That's what that was. Just, I'm gonna put a sign and say, please do not knock on my door. Just drop the package, please. Don't. Now you got too many sounds going. I'm sorry, but so yes, that was what I got from Barbara Jean, her situation. But I was like, I feel like it's common.
Yeah, I think it's universal. It could be anybody, even without having kids. You can feel like you're just involved in so many areas and not knowing what to do to calm down and just be with you. I get that.
So I know you don't have kids. I don't have kids. So I tried to put myself in Barbara's shoes. And I was like, well, Barbara has two things I don't have.
Right.
I don't have kids and I don't have a husband. Right?
That is, yes.
And so everything in my life, I have all the other parts. Like I work a million jobs. I got other things going on, but I don't have kids and a husband, which I think is its own separate type of complexity, because the other things that we have, even if we're a worker or not, they're very much, they don't have a feeling. Does that make sense? Like it's work and I go to work, but like a partner's personality, a kid's personality, a person's needs and stuff like that, which are more 24/7 than work. Like work has a cutoff time. Being a wife don't have a cutoff time. Being a mother doesn't have a cutoff time a lot of times for people. So I was like trying to compare my life to hers. And I'm like, okay, just as a regular person, if I had to come up with 3 or 4 things to say maintaining stability. So I'm agree with the first one, as you said, is like compartmentalizing and self-checking, like compartmentalizing and putting yourself at the core to see what is going to make your best version show up in all the compartments. Okay. So that would be like the first thing. I agree with you. I feel like that would help get a jump start on some stability.
Yeah. At least give her a taste of it, so where she's like, okay, this feels good. What other changes can I make?
Yep.
I think sometimes we need that initial success or that initial thing that feels really good. Keep going.
And then I guess like a second thing to me would be
use your partner, for Barbara Jean specifically, because she has a husband.
So we'll say use your support system, and that applies to everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Some people don't have a partner, but you do have a support system, right? Or your tribe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even a car got 4 wheels. So just being honest, like it's a reason that you have it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people who in her type of shoes, you probably show up for your support system, which is kind of why you are also feeling off. So using your support system. So yeah, that's 2. I'm with you. Use that support system. Use them. Call them up. Send them a text. Put a bat signal up. So don't be scared to ask for help.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't gain stability on your own. And I think we forget that. Because we're self-focused. It's kind of like independence. Like, I created this mess. I got to clean up my own mess. But sometimes the person that created the problem can't always solve it. I'm going to let that just marinate for y'all out there on that one.
I was imagining a broom. Like if someone's sweeping, there's someone catching it. Why am I like this?
Are you crazy?
That was the visual.
You in there sweeping and somebody got to catch the dust. You need somebody, a dustpan holder?
Yes, that's what I meant.
That's a hell of a chore to pick for the visual. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So that's 2. And so what are like 2 other things you think would be helpful? So we know compartmentalizing, using your support system.
How many we giving Barbara Jean?
3.
Oh, okay. One.
Resting in the unstableness.
Oh, yes. Not resisting, meeting it where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe it is a sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Which is why I was like my two different versions. That's sometimes that's the other ones. Like sometimes you're unstable because you're supposed to be. Because what you're trying to do, there is no stability in that for you.
I like that.
Because I think about you when you was traveling and and we was doing the episode on. I just listened to it. I can't remember. It was the episode we did. I don't know. You was like, I've been going. I need to sit down, right? And I'm like, and you was like, this is not the life for me. And but that is somebody's life, and it is stable for them, but it is not for you. And so I think realizing
that's his life.
Some stuff makes you feel unstable because that's not where you need to be. That's not where you fit for you. It's not your best option.
Yeah. And I can't show up as my best self if I stay on that wheel.
You reminiscing on it, and
I am, girl, and I'm feeling tense all in my body again.